If your toenail fungus keeps coming back, and I mean keeps coming back, no matter what you throw at it, I need you to stop everything you're doing right now and listen closely. Because what I'm about to share with you completely changed the way I look at this problem, and honestly, it's going to change the way you look at it too. You've tried the creams, you've tried the prescriptions, maybe you've even gone down the rabbit hole of home remedies at 11 o'clock at night, desperate for something, anything that actually works. And yet here you are, still dealing with it, still frustrated, still wondering why nothing sticks. Here's the truth, and I want you to really hear this. It is not your fault. You have not been failing. The treatments have been failing you. And the reason is something that almost nobody talks about, something that most videos, most doctors, most product labels completely gloss over. And once you understand it, everything is going to click into place. The fungus is not living on the surface of your nail. Say that again with me. It is not on the surface. It is deep underneath, buried in the nail bed, protected by a thick, stubborn layer of keratin that acts almost like a shield. And almost every single treatment out there, it sits right on top of that shield. It never gets through. It never reaches the source. And so the fungus just waits. It waits you out. It outlasts your patience. And the moment you stop, it comes right back. So what's the solution? It's not a miracle pill. It's not some exotic ingredient. It is a very specific, very intentional nightly routine that focuses on 3 things. And I want you to write these down if you can. Penetration, oxygen exposure, and breaking the reinfection cycle. These 3 things together are what finally move the needle. And I'm going to walk you through every single step tonight so that you know exactly what to do starting as early as this evening. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Step 1, soften the battlefield. Before you do anything else, before you apply anything, touch anything, or treat anything, you need to prepare the nail. And the way you do that is simple. Soak your feet in warm water for about 5 minutes. Not 10, not 15, just 5. Now I know what you might be thinking. Shouldn't I soak longer to really soften things up? And this is actually one of the most common mistakes people make, so I'm really glad we're addressing it right here at the start. Prolonged moisture doesn't help you. It helps the fungus. Fungal organisms absolutely love a warm, wet environment. So you are soaking just long enough to soften the nail and nothing more. Once those 5 minutes are up, you dry your feet completely. And I mean completely. Under the nail, around the nail, in every little fold and crease. Because any moisture left behind becomes an invitation, a welcome mat for the very thing you're trying to eliminate. Dryness is not just a step in this process. Dryness is a weapon. Start treating it like one. Step 2, thin the barrier. Now here's where things start to get really interesting, and this step alone is something that most people have never even considered. Take a clean nail file, a fresh one, not one you've been sharing or reusing, and gently thin out the surface of the affected nail. And I want to be very clear here. You are not trying to damage your nail. You are not grinding it down aggressively. You are simply reducing the thickness just enough so that when you apply something to it, that something can actually travel through the nail instead of just sitting on top like a wasted layer of product that never reaches its destination. Think about it this way. If you were trying to water a plant and there was a thick concrete slab over the soil, pouring water on top of the concrete wouldn't do anything for the roots underneath. Thinning the nail is removing that slab. It's opening the pathway. And it makes every single thing you do after this step dramatically more effective. Step 3, the 2-part application. This is the game changer. Okay, this is the moment I've been building toward, and I want you to pay close attention because this combination is the heart of everything. Most people have used one of these ingredients before. Very few have used both together in the right order, in the right way. And that sequence matters more than most people realize. First, diluted apple cider vinegar. Mix it roughly equal parts with water and gently work it into the nail and into the sides of the nail folds, those little creases where the nail meets the surrounding skin. Now, why apple cider vinegar? Because fungus has a very specific pH preference. It thrives in certain conditions, and apple cider vinegar shifts that pH in a way that the fungus absolutely does not like. But more than that, and this is the part that makes it so powerful in combination, it begins breaking down that outer keratin layer, softening and opening it up even further so that what comes next can penetrate as deeply as possible. And what comes next? Hydrogen peroxide. Right after the apple cider vinegar, apply a few drops of hydrogen peroxide directly to the nail and let it do its thing. You'll see it bubble, and that bubbling is not just satisfying to watch, it's actually meaningful. What's happening is that the hydrogen peroxide is releasing oxygen. And here's the key piece of physiology that ties this all together. Fungal organisms thrive in low oxygen environments. They depend on it. They're adapted to it. So when you flood that environment with oxygen, when you push it directly into the nail bed through a softened, thinned nail, you are creating conditions where the fungus genuinely struggles to survive. You are not just treating a symptom, you are changing the entire environment. You are pulling the rug out from under the fungus by taking away the very conditions it needs to keep growing and thriving and coming back. And that is exactly what makes this combination so different from just applying a cream and hoping for the best. Step 4, address the surrounding skin. Now here's something that people overlook constantly, and it drives me a little bit crazy because it's such a critical piece of the puzzle. Fungus does not stay neatly contained to just the nail. It doesn't respect borders. It spreads into the surrounding skin, the cuticle area, the folds on either side of the nail, and it hides there, quietly, patiently. And even if you treat the nail perfectly, if you ignore the surrounding skin, that hidden fungus will simply reinfect the nail over and over again. This is one of the biggest reasons people feel like nothing ever fully works. So after your 2-part application, take a moment to gently massage around the nail and the cuticle. Make sure you're reaching that skin, addressing the entire zone, not just the nail itself. Because a complete approach treats the whole environment, not just the most visible part of the problem. Step 5, let it breathe overnight. This last step might sound almost too simple, but do not underestimate it. After everything you've done, the soaking, the thinning, the vinegar, the peroxide, the massage, your final job is to leave that area as dry and exposed as possible while you sleep. Skip the tight socks. Skip anything that traps heat or blocks airflow around your feet. Airflow and dryness are not optional extras in this process. They are fundamental to creating an environment where fungus cannot thrive. Every hour of open-air exposure overnight is an hour working in your favor. And now, the part most people completely miss. I've talked about what you do to your nail, but I haven't talked yet about what you're stepping into every single morning. And this might be the most overlooked piece of the entire reinfection cycle, your shoes. Think about it. You do everything right every single night. You're consistent, you're thorough, you're disciplined, And then every morning you put your foot into a warm, damp, enclosed shoe that has been sitting there collecting moisture and harboring the same fungal spores you've been trying to eliminate. And just like that, the cycle resets. This is not about blame. This is just how reinfection works. And understanding it means you can stop it. Rotate your shoes. Give each pair at least a full day to dry out completely before you wear them again. If you can, leave them somewhere with good airflow. And seriously consider using an antifungal powder inside your shoes to keep that internal environment dry and hostile to fungal growth. Because the goal isn't just to treat your nail. The goal is to break the entire cycle from every possible angle. Treatment without environment change is like bailing out a boat without plugging the hole. You have to do both. Why this actually works, the science behind it. Let's talk about what's really happening physiologically, because I think when you understand the why, you become so much more consistent with the how. Fungal organisms, the kind responsible for nail infections, have very specific survival requirements. They need keratin to feed on. They need moisture to thrive. They need warmth to stay active. And they need low oxygen environments to grow undisturbed. Every single step in this routine is directly targeting one or more of those requirements. When you thin the nail, you're reducing the keratin barrier. When you dry completely, you're eliminating moisture. When you shift the pH with apple cider vinegar, you're making the environment chemically hostile. And when you introduce hydrogen peroxide, you're flooding the area with oxygen. The one thing fungus is most poorly equipped to handle. You are not attacking from one angle, you are attacking from all angles simultaneously. And that multi-pronged approach is precisely why people who have tried everything and seen no results finally start to see change when they commit to this method. Your body wants to grow a healthy nail. It is constantly trying to. The nail that grows from the base is new tissue, untouched by the existing infection, but only if you give it the right conditions. Once you change the environment and remove the fungus's ability to keep spreading downward, your body begins to do what it's designed to do. And slowly, gradually, you start to see that new growth coming in cleaner, clearer, and healthier. A word on patience and why it's worth it. I will never lie to you and tell you this is an overnight fix. It is not. Nails grow slowly, and healing happens at the pace your body sets, not the pace we wish for. But here's what I can tell you with complete confidence. Consistency with a method that actually works is infinitely more powerful than constantly switching between things that don't. When you do this every single night, when it becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth, you stop fighting the fungus reactively and start changing the conditions proactively. And that shift in approach is everything. Give it time, stay disciplined, trust the process, and watch what happens when you finally start addressing the root of the problem instead of just putting something on the surface and hoping it soaks in. I created this for you because I know how exhausting this can be. I know how discouraging it feels to try something, see a little improvement, and then watch it come right back. I've heard it from so many people, and it genuinely matters to me that you have the information you need to actually get ahead of this. So please, share this with someone you know who has been struggling with the same thing. A family member, a friend, anyone who has been quietly dealing with this and doesn't know there's a better approach. Because everyone deserves to understand what's really going on and what to actually do about it. My name is Louisa Hart, and I only want one thing for you, your best health. So take this, use it, Be consistent, and most importantly, make it a